The Tomorrow War, an Amazon Prime original. Now I have to say this. I just don't understand why people hate Chris Pratt so much. Like, I can't really find the reasons. I can't. Like, all his co-workers always defend him from, like, lots of attacks, and I don't feel like he says anything so inflammatory, but every single time he's just like in the comment section. And like movies, every critic is like. But today we're gonna be reviewing The Tomorrow War, which was actually better than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be kind of bad because the critics were doing their shenanigans as always. But there are still a lot of drawbacks, and we're gonna start with the first one. The CGI. Oh my gosh. You know, it shifted. Sometimes it was like, holy crap, wow. This is scary, spooky, it's like, ooh, you really feel it. Sometimes they look like puppets, bitch. Really? It was like, bitch, is this 2021 or is it 1990? Oh my gosh, it was like, I cannot believe it. However, it was saved, I will say, you know what? I can get rid of the CGI, the bad moments, I can just erase them from my mind. I know you can too, I promise. But I really liked how the actors were, you know, in this one. Chris Pratt was great as always. And all the other side characters were also great. Like I felt okay, one that one black guy, if you watch it, you know which one I'm talking about. Like sometimes he just felt like he was out of place. And that's because of how the joke structure they did. Some of the jokes that they had in the movie were cringy as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, oh my gosh, help me. But you know, they surprised me, and some of them actually landed right on the head, right on the nail. Like they were so funny, it was so random, some of these jokes being so funny. I literally had to pause the movie because it was so funny some parts. Which doesn't make any sense because they had one joke that was like, flop, 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 and I was like, oh, this movie is gonna suck so much because they were in the beginning, most of the bad jokes. But then, like, randomly ass one huge singer that was just like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. You'll look forward to that, and you'll know exactly which black guy I'm talking about, I promise. But, either way. This story is about soldiers are coming from the future. And they're trying to recruit humanity to help them fight in a war in the future because they're losing against this alien race that has come to the Earth. Now, there are a lot of other intricacies for this because this movie fails the time travel plot hole, which they do fix later, but it's like you do realize that why would you be taking people from the past to fight in the future? It doesn't really make sense because you would rather like wouldn't you just rather go back to the past and then destroy the aliens. So and I know, it breaks the time frames where I have one with the aliens and one without, but it kind of feels a little bit selfish that you're taking people from the past and making them fight in a war that is that actually could be just stopped if they just killed them in there. I understand. Of course, if it was me and I was dying, I would go to the past and help people because I don't want to die. But it makes you think. So, I really enjoyed how the cinematography is presented in this one because there are some beautiful, beautiful scenes, very ominous scenes, especially the stairwell scene. Ooh, that was when I was like, really, it was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, that's like the only scene. The rest were like CGI crazy puppets, and it was like, no. But and actually there were some other scenes, but that was the only like picture, like 10 out of 10 movie scene that I could think of from the whole movie that was like, wow, this is like expertly crafted. Now, of course, if I had to give this movie a rating, it's hard, and the audience and critics have been split, which is indicative of something deeper and more of a hate towards Chris Pratt, but also understandable because there are some big flaws and plot holes in this movie. But I really think it's really enjoyable and it's really put together, besides the plot holes. I know I just said that. There's not that many. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 7.5 out of 10 just because they take away a lot of the cheesy stuff that I thought was gonna be. I was like, oh, grab. Well, here we go again. This is so... Oh, okay, they didn't do that. Wow, thanks. You didn't grab the low-hanging fruit. I always appreciate when movies don't grab the low-hanging fruit, and this one did not grab the low-hanging fruit almost at all. But of course, CGI, rough. Sometimes. Jokes, rough. Sometimes. Plot, rough sometimes. Not consistent, confusing a little bit, which is never... It's sometimes good, but not for this type of movie. This isn't a mystery movie. You don't need to be confused. You need to connect a little bit more. And they do explain, to their credit, they do explain some of the confusing stuff, but I just would have rather it be less confusing from the beginning, instead of only explaining half the confusing stuff. But either way, 7.5, I think is better than what the critics are giving it, like a 50% right now. Slightly worse than what audience is giving it, 80% right now. But either way, it's been said there, Skeptic, and just like and subscribe, because apparently so many people are not subscribed that watch my videos, like 80%. So come on, help me grow. It's very easy, it takes no effort at all. Actually, it takes a little effort, but I have faith, don't worry. I'll see you in the next one.